What if the world's greatest new heroes were secretly its most dangerous villains? Picture this. The world is in mourning. Its champions, the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, are gone. It's vanished. The cheers were unearned. This was right after the Onslaught saga, where a psychic monster basically blinked the Avengers and the Fantastic Four out of existence. Every villain who was ever afraid of an Avenger suddenly saw their chance. The world was drowning, and its lifeguards were gone. It was in that exact moment of fear and desperation that a new symbol of hope arrived. They weren't the Avengers, sure, but they were here. They stopped crimes, and they earned global adoration. Some of the most infamous villains to ever fight the Avengers. Even for the wrong reasons. Does that make them a hero? No. Just wearing new costumes. More importantly, they earned trust. They fought monsters. They were a complete sham. They were the masters of evil. It really makes you ask if a villain does good things. For the first time in their lives, these villains were experiencing something totally new. They were loved. The sound of a cheering crowd, the look of gratitude on a face they just saved. It turns out that's a pretty addictive feeling. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Now they were fugitives, hunted by heroes and villains alike, but determined to prove that they had really changed. The former criminal who became one of Earth's mightiest heroes. Over the years, the team has changed. Sometimes it's been a government black ops squad, and the wild idea that maybe even the worst of us can choose to be better, expose their true identities to the entire world. It's a theme the MCU is getting ready to explore with its own Thunderbolts movie, which is stacked with anti-heroes and complicated characters like Bucky Barnes, Yelena Belova. Thanks for watching. And US Agent. Kind of like DC Suicide Squad, other times. It's been a last chance saloon for villains, trying to find the path to redemption. And hey, while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the comic book vault. The trap was officially set. Faced with their old enemies, Zemo decided to force his team's hand, trying to burn any bridge they had to a normal life, shattering his dreams of conquest. The legacy of this forgotten superweapon is a reminder that sometimes the most heroic thing you can do is choose to become the person you were only pretending to be. Mach 1 was the old Spider-Man baddie, the Beetle. Songbird was the criminal, screaming Mimi. Atlas was the powerhouse Goliath. They were handed the keys to the Kingdom access, to the empty Avengers Mansion, and the Fantastic Four's Baxter Building. Instead of falling in line, most of the Thunderbolts did the one thing he never expected. They rebelled. They turned on him, choosing to fight for the ideals they had only been pretending to have. In one epic battle, they sided with the Avengers to take down their old boss. He was none other than the master manipulator himself, Baron Helmut Zemo. His plan was twisted, but simple. Use the world's grief as a cover to gain its trust. Get inside its most secure intelligence networks, and then, a part of them desperately wanted the fantasy to be real. That little seed of doubt started to grow, causing a rift in the team and putting them on a collision course with Zemo's grand plan. When the time was right, take it all. The Thunderbolts weren't a superhero team. They were a precision-guided missile aimed right at the world's heart. The Thunderbolts. Without them, the world was left terrified and vulnerable. They were a Trojan horse, a living superweap, built by a master manipulator to conquer the world. Not with brute force, but with something far more powerful. ... Trust. Atlas, a literal giant with a gentle heart. Into this hole in the heart of the world, a new team appears. They call themselves the Thunderbolts, and they are exactly what everyone needs them to be. Strong, charming, and totally dedicated to justice. But the whole thing was a lie. To really get how deep this deception went, you have to understand just how broken the world was. Crime went through the roof. In what is still one of the greatest plot twists in comic history, the masks literally came off. Their leader was the perfect hero, Citizen 5, a patriot supposedly carrying on his family's noble legacy. The team was a slick package of power and personality. You had Mach -1, a flying armored ace. Songbird, whose sonic powers were as beautiful as they were deadly. And Meteorite and Techno, who brought cosmic power and tech genius to the table. And the public absolutely fell in love with them. And then, in the final pages of Thunderbolts #1, came the gut punch. These new heroes and their heroic leader, Citizen 5, this is the kind of story that changes how you look at everything. But Zemo's perfect plan had a flaw, and that flaw was human nature. People like Songbird and Mac 1 started to realize that they liked being heroes. It's way more than they ever liked being criminals. They weren't just faking it anymore. The breaking point came when the impossible happened. The Avengers and Fantastic Four returned, but he read the room completely wrong. And just like that, the Thunderbolts became something else entirely. They eventually found a new leader and someone who understood them perfectly. Hawkeye. The story of the original Thunderbolts is this incredible tale about identity, betrayal. It all comes down to one question. Can a person ever truly escape their past? Or are some people just beyond saving?